Happening right now, Oakland Police Chief LaRon Armstrong is addressing a 4th of July gathering that turned deadly. So let's listen in.
Events that rapidly unfolded the night of July 4th, including gun violence, homicides, as well as the legal sideshow activity. So without further delay, I'll now introduce Chief Armstrong.
Good afternoon. First thing I want to say is that the Oakland Police Department worked closely with other city agencies like the fire department, the divisions planning and coordinating our safety response in anticipation of 4th of July. We knew with the level of fireworks activity that we had already seen prior to the 4th of July that it was going to be a pretty eventful night. But I think that was an understatement based on what we faced last night. The last 24 hours have been very challenging in the city of Oakland. The department did have additional staffing dedicated to focus on illegal fireworks throughout the city of Oakland. We also had a dedicated sideshow detail for enforcement of sideshow as well. So we came into the evening prepared to address both issues, both fireworks as well as sideshow activity. We understand the impacts of these quality of life issues around fireworks and how it can impact community, our seniors, pets, and can disrupt people's ability to rest in their own communities. It also can lead to significant fireworks-related injuries as well as structural fires. We'll be discussing, normally we would be discussing the number of citations that we've given, the number of arrests that we've made. But unfortunately, yesterday went into a completely different direction. Yesterday really centered around our response to violent crime. We had, unfortunately, to move those fireworks-related enforcement officers as well as our sideshow-related officers to focus solely on violent crime in the city of Oakland. And that started off at about 6:25 p.m. in the 5700 block of Elizabeth Street, where a male adult, 29 years old, was shot multiple times while driving in his vehicle. That sort of led to the beginning of a very challenging evening for our officers as well as for the community as violence began to really pick up yesterday. Our second shooting would happen at 9:37 p.m. where we received a 911 call from a community member in the 5400 block of Roberts Avenue, where a male juvenile, 16 years old, had been the victim of gunshot wounds. That young man is in stable condition. This incident is related to celebratory fireworks gunfire. Our third incident was at 10 p.m. in the 2200 block of 23rd Avenue, where another male adult, 29 years old, received multiple gunshot wounds. Our fourth shooting happened at 10:51 p.m., 4200 block of International Boulevard, where a male adult, 45, was suffering from gunshot wounds. He was critically injured. This incident was possibly related again to celebratory gunfire. Then we had an unexplained death that occurred at 11:49 p.m. OPD officers were flagged down by a citizen in the 4200 block of International regarding an unresponsive adult male who was suffering from blunt trauma to the head. This victim was in critical condition early this morning. He has now succumbed to his injuries and has died. Our fifth shooting resulted in a homicide. This happened at 12:08 a.m. this morning. This occurred in the 7700 block of Bancroft Avenue, where a male adult, 48 years old, was suffering from multiple gunshots. The victim succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced deceased on the scene. Our sixth shooting, what happened at 12:40 a.m. Oakland police officers were dispatched to a local hospital where a victim had walked into the hospital and had been the recipient of several gunshot wounds as well that occurred in the 800 block of 59th Street. We responded to that scene and then located a shooting scene. Our seventh shooting possible homicide that we're still working this morning occurred at 9:54 a.m. this morning in the 2400 block of 88th Avenue, where we located a female suffering from gunshot wounds. She is in critical condition and likely not to make it as a result of her gunshot wounds. In the midst of dealing with that level of violence, with low number of resources and officers running from one shooting scene to another trying to manage violence, we had no opportunity to truly address the level of fireworks activity that was happening simultaneously throughout the city. To exacerbate the problem even worse, we encountered a very large and extremely violent and dangerous sideshow. This sideshow reached a number of over 300 vehicles and over 200 additional spectators, posing significant dangerous threats to our officers by the use of firearms as well as lasers pointing at the officers and then objects being thrown at the officers as well. It went from across our city into the 100 block of Telegraph, along the MacArthur and High Street corridors, as well as the Coolidge and MacArthur corridors. During this sideshow, there was a report of one of the spectators that was struck by a vehicle and sustained a major injury where he was hit by a car and transported to the hospital with a really severe injury that could lead to lifelong medical treatment. Officers were able to manage to arrest 3 individuals in connection with the sideshow. We also recovered 5 firearms, 4 handguns, and 1 rifle. This is just, again, a clear, statement of what's happening in the city of Oakland. Obviously, the level of violence, I continue to say, is far too high. Although we came out prepared to address fireworks as well as sideshow activity, the violence overtook all of our resources, and our officers were stretched to their maximum capacity last night. They did the best they could last night to manage all of these incidents throughout the city of Oakland, but we are dealing with significant challenges. And my heart goes out to the families of the victims from last night, but celebratory gunfire led to the vast majority of these shootings. People who had firearms, using them in our community indiscriminately, causing injury to others. It was a sad night last night. 24 hours has been very difficult in the city of Oakland with these challenges around gun violence, but also the dangerous and high level of sideshow activity in the city. So with that, I'll take the question.
Chief, can you list off some of the difficulties you've been having?
Well, I think if you look at the short period of time where we had a significant number of shootings, we're probably talking a 6-hour period where we responded to 6 different shootings. That is, it requires an enormous amount of resources, including one of them being a homicide. That is a huge undertaking for a resource-stricken police department already. That is, difficult, and that had a true impact on our officers from one scene to another. Obviously, today we're making sure that we provide whatever peer support we can for our officers, because seeing these things every day also has an impact on you from going from one chaotic scene to another. So we're trying to manage the wellness side of it for our officers as well.
There was some reports of a child being shot yesterday. Is that accurate? Or?
Yes, I mentioned the 16-year-old that was the victim of a shooting. I'll have Officer Watson give you the specific details regarding the shooting, but yes, we did have a juvenile that was struck by gunfire as well yesterday.
Chief, just to review, so were there 2 homicides? One last night, one this morning, and then potentially you're saying there was a suspicious death, which could turn into a homicide?
Well, wait, we don't know what the investigation might show later on, so I'm not able to say what the suspicious death will lead to, but I can say that we had the one shooting homicide and then the additional shooting this morning where the person is in grave condition.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one confirmed homicide, one suspicious death, one the female in grave condition.
Yes.
So potentially, unfortunately, at least 2 deaths.
Yes, at least 2, and then one other death that we're not able to purely at this time give you a cause at this moment.
Wait, sorry, I lost count. Chief, it was 7 shootings? Or
Yes.
7 shootings?
It was 7 shootings.
In the 24 hours.
It was 7 shootings in the 24 hours and then an additional shooting this morning.
Can you speak to the video that you decided not to show?
No, we have some video of sideshow activity that happened throughout the city that captured some of the activity that we faced over the evening. We'll work with the PIO office to see when we can release that video to you. But we had our helicopter up. We were watching it. We had officers in the area continuing to address the sideshow issue. So I don't want community members to think that the department was not trying to address it. We were, with the resources that we had. But with a large group like that, it's very challenging because they move from one location to another. Our officers did not conclude their operation until early this morning. Into the wee hours of the morning, they were still dealing with sideshow activity. And so this was an all-night operation. I mean, you can see that I told you that the shooting started around 6 in the evening yesterday, and our officers were still dealing with these shootings 5 in the morning. The sideshow activity until 5 this morning. So we're talking about 12 hours of nonstop chaos throughout the city, both violence and sideshow. That's what's concerning. And so when there's if there's any idea of does this police department need resources to address these issues, for sure we do. It's clear we do. It's clear that the problems that we're facing is a challenge for us to manage, and they're not going away. They have continued to be here this entire year, and we clearly know that we were outnumbered yesterday with sideshow vehicles and spectators.
So the celebration gunfire, is that bullets, rounds going up in the air and coming back down?
That is both, right? I think we know that we have some information that bullets were going up and coming down, but also, I've been here a long time, a couple decades, and this is one of the more violent 4th of Julys that I've ever seen when it comes to celebratory gunfire. Typically, we have a lot of fireworks activity that's always concerning, but this year, the level of celebratory gunfire was something like we haven't seen before, and the number of people that have been hit by gunfire over the last 24 hours is just unbelievable. It's jarring to us to see the number of people that are actually that did sustain gunshot wounds last night.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that 16-year-old? Was he out hanging with a group, or was he at home, completely not part of the celebration?
We'll give you all the details. We'll let Officer Watson give you the details, but it was not an indoor shooting. The victim was outdoors while activity was occurring.
I live not too far away from the lake, so I did see that police presence around the lake, around Grand Ave, where the streets were closed down. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Was that an effective tool in terms of reducing crowding? And do you think the OPD will return to that? We'll do that once again next time there's maybe Labor Day or what have you?
Well, we came out with a very intentional plan to try to manage large crowds that might come to the lake. We didn't see as larger crowds as we anticipated. Again, we had other issues throughout the city where resources were reallocated. But it was our plan to do some traffic engineering sort of, adjustments to limit people ability to drive around the lake. We did have a dedicated presence around the lake. Like I said, we anticipated people coming to the lake. We know that there are a couple of areas in the city that people primarily like to go to, and so we wanted to have a decent presence there. But I think all of those resources got consumed by the violence at some point in the night. We had to use every officer that we had available in the city.
Chief, did anything work well for you last night?
What worked well is our officers' dedication and hard work. The fact of the matter is that these officers were going from one scene to another. They still was able to provide emergency medical care to those individuals that were suffering from gunshot wounds. our Falk ambulance system was over inundated with calls, and they were unable to respond in a timely manner to these shootings. And so everybody was consumed with these issues. Not only the police department, also ambulances didn't have enough resources to come out and assist in the city of Oakland. And that just goes to show you to the level of violence that we were managing, is that we didn't have ambulances available to help come and provide medical support. It was taking a significant amount of time for them to get there. And that even concerned our officers, where officers were asking, hey, we are waiting a long time for ambulances to get here. And that was challenging for us when you're trying to provide emergency support to people, trying to help them with their injuries. You want to have an ambulance available, and unfortunately, so much was going on that they just didn't have it.
Would you consider calling in mutual assistance from any other agencies if we didn't have that?
No, not last night. I mean, these are things that our officers are trained to deal with. I mean, they know how to manage these incidents. They know how to quickly contain these incidents and investigate them. And they also know to quickly get back into service so that we can respond to the next incident. And so we can manage this, but it is a challenge. It is a nonstop affair. It is continuing to go from one thing to another and manage chaotic scene after chaotic scene.
So as far as the illegal fireworks were concerned, I know you mentioned that there were so many calls that OPD was inundated with. Were there any citations given? Was there any, what was done in terms of tackling the illegal fireworks situation?
OPD was unable to manage any fireworks-related activity. And from my perspective, it was not appropriate for us to focus on fireworks while we were experiencing the potential loss of life. This level of gunfire that we've seen, it was important that our officers stay focused on trying to get to these scenes as soon as we can. I think we know that the faster we get to scenes, the more likely we can save the individual that was shot, and that was really our effort, to really try to respond, try to apprehend people who were responsible for this gunfire, but also make sure that we were providing some sort of medical service and help and assistance to those that were injured.
Well, this is your home, Chief. We know that July 4th is going to be active here in Oakland, but do you think this is going to be it? This is going to be the worst of the worst in terms of the summer? Because I don't know of another holiday where we anticipate this many fireworks. Mm-hmm. Do you think this is hopefully it?
This is a warm summer. We're at 67 homicides. This has been a different year. This year has been challenging for us since the beginning, going into 2020, and it has not slowed down. And so I don't, previously I would have told you that hopefully this slows down as the pandemic allows us things to open back up, but we haven't seen that. We have seen violence continue to spike. We have seen shootings continue to occur. On, and we haven't even scratched the surface with the level of shot spotter activity that we had over the last 2 to 3 days. And so it's just a challenging time, and I can't say that it's behind us. I think the weather is anticipated to be pretty warm, and I think that brings people out. I think we're going to have to do something to talk about how we as a community come together to reduce this violence, and I hope to be leading that in the next week or so, where I'll be bringing people together to rally against standing up for a safe Oakland. I want everybody to know that the police department alone won't be able to do this. This will take a collective effort between the police department, Department of Violence Prevention, but mainly community. We have to get people to put down guns. We have to get people to stop firing guns. We are losing people at an alarming rate, and we all need to recognize how much trauma and hurt and pain is in our community, and we have to stop.
Okay, we have time for just one last question. If that's it, then we'll call the presser. No more questions?
Right. Let me give everybody some no, it's okay. I'm just going to give you guys some quick numbers while the chief is